What's up, guys? Hold on. It's a little bit better. What's up? It's James from James and Jeff Tiles. I took like 2 days off. Doing daily videos takes a lot out of you, and I'm working 2 jobs right now, so it's not the easiest thing in the world. And I am a busy person. I have a girlfriend, so we went and saw her family and enjoyed Thursday, Friday. I was just busy Thursday. It had nothing to do with that. But and today's video is going to be all about keeping crested geckos, but doing it in a way where it makes it easy to breed. And what I mean by that is I'm going to talk about how to keep them cheaply, but not bad, so you can breed them and they can reproduce and they'll be awesome. And it'll be awesome. Alright. Crested geckos are one of the easiest reptiles to breed. And I've bred a couple. I've bred fat tails, leopards, cresteds, all sorts of insects. I'll be doing snakes in about a year or two. And cresteds are the easiest. Out of all the research I've done, out of everyone I've talked to, cresteds are going to be the easiest. So, in my opinion, it's a great place to start. It's the cheapest place to start. This glass front enclosure is expensive. Actually, I got that for free, but that's not normally going to happen. Now, being a reptile breeder is all about saving money, especially if you're not producing yet. You don't have any of that sustainable income. So everything you buy before you start selling babies is out of pocket. All the food, all the original geckos, the enclosure. So, actually, I recommend getting tubs. I think this tub at Walmart, maybe $6, I can't remember. But I did have to put something on top to weigh it down. These are all push tools. But tub, inside glass tank. That's like the number one. I went out and bought a drill just because I needed a drill to drill all sorts of tubs. But I'm sure you could just borrow a drill from someone. Just make sure the drill hole sizes aren't too big. Plants can get really pricey, especially if you go to like a reptile store and get plants, unless there's a big sale going on. I get usually, now these hanging vines are really good for big enclosures, but for babies, I use little craft store plants, like the big leafy green plants, and they'll go on sale. There'll always be some kind on sale. Right now, I keep seeing summer stuff on sale. It's like 60% off most of it. And some of it that's really big is only like $2. I might go back and get some more of that soon. But of course, anything you might need, if you don't want to do tubs and you want to do glass, sorry, I'm just skipping around, but Facebook Marketplace, hop on Facebook, there's always deals going on. I see a lot of people on there, anytime any kind of animal is posted, they're asking how much it is. And I don't recommend being that kind of person because it just kind of shows that you're not interested in one thing, you're jumping all around, you don't know what you want to do. If you just stick to one thing, like crested geckos, and you focus for a year and you produce some, people start to realize that that's what you are. You're focused, you're not jumping around randomly like I am in this video. But crested gecko food, there's not really a cheap way to do it. You just kind of have to buy food. The only thing I can recommend on that sort of front is when you're feeding your geckos, know how much they eat. Give them just enough if they want to eat more, but don't give them too much. And I know some people feed every day. I wouldn't recommend that because you're probably going to end up wasting a lot of food. I feed every other day, and I do supplement with crickets, which are probably cheaper depending on where you get them. I get them for real cheap at work. What else? When you're buying your original crested geckos, now obviously I would recommend going out and buying the $200 or $300 animal, even if it's not ready to breed yet, and raising it up a little bit, and then getting, you probably want a female. Get sexable adults, don't get babies, unless you want to wait and play the odds, which can be cheaper. The problem is if you get a bunch of babies, you can end up getting all males, because odds are if someone knows it's a female, they plucked it out and they kept it for themselves, so they sold it to someone else for more, and you're going to get a bunch of males. And you might not know that, but they've looked at it with a jeweler's loom or a magnifying glass, and they've seen pores, and they know these ones have pores. Maybe you might get 1 or 2 females, but how many do you have to buy before you get that, and what do you do with all the extra? So I would buy sexed adults, maybe not proven breeders, but sexed adults, and I try to buy expensive, nice looking animals. But to be honest with you, the first pair in here are pretty nice. They were actually given, this whole setup plus a pair was given to me. That's how I started with crested geckos. But this other one, Olga, she's named Olga because she's uglier compared to the other one. The other one's named Bella because it means like beautiful or whatever. But Olga, I bought 4 crested geckos off of someone on Facebook for $100, about 4. There was a male with a half a tail and like no crest whatsoever. It was like someone was breeding for no crest on purpose. It was really ugly and I sold it. I got like 50, 45 bucks for it. There was a female with a super kinked back. I sold her for like $40. I wasn't gonna breed her. I wasn't gonna do that. She wasn't super nice anyway. There was a really red girl, which I gave to my buddy to breed. I said, give me an egg. I think he has eggs, but he hasn't given me an egg, so screw that guy, right? And then there was Olga. Olga, there's nothing wrong with her, but basically what ended up happening is I paid $100. I gave a gecko away, I sold 2, I almost made my money back, and then I had 1 to breed. So, but you might not have that opportunity to sell those geckos depending on where you live. I live in a pretty populated area that ends up liking reptiles. We're a pretty big community on reptiles. And that's just the way I would do it. Or that's the way I did do it. If I was looking back, I'd just save up all my money, eat ramen for a month, and then after that first month, maybe you have $200 from not eating out and all that, and not buying expensive groceries, and you can afford your first gecko, and the next month you buy a second one, and look at that, you have a pair. It's only been 2 months, and you have a pair of nice geckos. I gotta switch her out one of these days, but if you're keeping up with the channel, I'm really looking for blue animals. So I'll probably be getting some more blue milk frogs, blue Amazon milk frogs, which are blue. I was looking for Vietnamese blue beauty snakes. Totally going off on a tangent. I saw them advertised for 90 bucks on one website, and I hit them up. They said, we haven't had those in 2 years. When we hear about them, we'll let you know. And then I had another guy who actually breeds them himself. He hit me up. He said $450 for a pair, or $225 for a male. He didn't even sell females by themselves. So that was really crazy. I was like, boom. I knew they'd probably be like, I thought the most expensive I'd seen was $175. So I was pretty bummed out. So I'm not going to be doing that. I got my own bills to pay. I got car payment, taxes, screw taxes. So I'll probably get some more tadpoles. That'll be nice. That'll be really cool for the channel. I'll make videos about those like at least once a week. Everything that's going on with them. If any of them pass away or what I'm doing. But for now, I'm doing crested geckos. Now, give me 1 second. When I first started realizing they were laying eggs, I had about that much substrate. That's just how it was given to me. I took all that out, and I made an egg box. Egg boxes are really cheap. Just little Rubbermaid Tupperware, and I cut a hole in it, put some EcoWorth. Real cheap. Now, incubation tub, you could really do the same thing. You could use a Rubbermaid. I just have these little deli cups. Poke a little hole in it. I got Hatch Right. I think I paid like $14 for a good sized bag of it on Amazon. And it lasted me all last year with my fat tails and even into this year with my crested. So that's something I'd recommend. I don't really know if there's a cheaper way to do that. I know there's much more expensive ways, but crested geckos are good for being cheap in the fact that you don't have to incubate them in an incubator. If you don't have an incubator, you don't have to go get one just to breed cresteds. Like if you want to do something else next year, use the money you got from cresteds and go buy one. But room temperature, dog. Actually, my room stays a little bit warmer, which is probably a little bit better. But room temperature, no incubator, sounds good to me. Alright, so the lighting is really bad right here, and I don't know if it's going to focus the whole time. But this is Bella. She was one of my first crested geckos, and I'm going to talk about her butt real quick.
One way you can save money buying geckos is buying frog butts. And basically, what that means, basically, crested geckos, like a lot of other species of geckos, can drop their tail. And unlike like leopard geckos and fat tails, crested geckos don't actually grow their tail back. So they'll have what's known as a frog butt. And that's not really bad in any way. It's just, to some people, it's not as appealing. And some people think frog butts are even like cuter or something, gives it more character. But for the most part, frog butts are going to be a little bit cheaper than other geckos just because it's not pristine condition. And if you're going to look for geckos, I recommend looking for frog butts, probably a little bit cheaper, or even going on auctions. I'm sure you could find cheaper ones on an auction than you might be able to on a regular website. And of course, you're not going to be judged for your frog butt as a breeder because a lot of geckos actually lose their tail breeding anyway. And it's not like you're going to have to sell this frog butt animal. You're going to keep your first pair probably forever, honestly. And then when your geckos hatch out, they're all going to have tails anyway. So it's not going to matter. No one's going to see these and go, oh, I don't want to buy from him. His breeders are frog butts. That doesn't matter. Watch her jump. Maybe not. Okay.
Alright, so I've been producing cresteds for a while now. And by a while, I mean like 8 months, if that. But you see these tubs right here? Of course, I drilled holes in them. You're going to have to borrow the drill again from whoever. But $2 a piece at Walmart. You can't see it in the frame probably, but there's a whole stack of like 12 over here that I bought. And when I went to Walmart, I just bought all of them. Because when are you going to see them for $2 a piece? Then I was keeping up to 3 in a tub at once. And whenever one of them outgrew it, I just separate them into their own tub. And you have to fill all of them with plants, and you have to feed all of them individually. But I think once you start going, you can realize which ones are nicer if you separate them. You keep those back. You have another breeding pair next year. And then also, on top of that, you have more next year. Crested geckos, man. You get a free endless supply of geckos, and you just keep whatever ones you want. Another thing Another thing to think about is when I go to a reptile show, breeders usually give other breeders discounts, and if they don't, they should. We're all a community; we can all help each other out. So when you go to buy crested gecko food, if you're vending a show, they might sell it to you cheaper if you go like before the show starts and you just buy it from them. They might give you a discount. Being a breeder has a lot of perks. It gives you a little more, gives you a little bit more authority when you're talking to other breeders online. If you message someone and they either have heard about you or they can look at your account and see that you breed geckos, whether you're asking a question or you're inquiring about something, they're more likely to respond to you and give you the time of day if they know you're doing exactly what they're doing and you're trying to do what they're doing. It kind of makes you on the same playing field, and it just brings a lot of respect. Like the people who breed green trees, they all know each other. I mean, that's a tight-knit group, but they all know each other, and they all try to help each other out. I think every group should be like that, and if you join like a crested gecko group on Facebook, I'm on a crested gecko group. It's called like crested geckos or something like that on Facebook. And there's a lot of Facebook warriors, and I know I rant about Facebook warriors a lot. But there's also a lot of free, good information just out there. Just people messing up, and you can learn from that. Or someone asks a question that you didn't even know you had, and there it is, and you get 50 answers within an hour. And all of a sudden, you don't have to spend your time researching, and you can spend more time working on your animals, cleaning and making sure everything's up to speed on everything. But that's it for this video on crested geckos and how to keep them cheaply if you want to breed, and how to get everything started cheap. Crested geckos are pretty easy. I recommend them as a great beginner pet, and if you just want if you're a reptile breeder, maybe you have snakes and you've never had geckos, I think it's like the best gecko to get. I would recommend that. Leopard geckos are a little bit more boring. It kind of has to be
something you're into. Crested geckos are kind of for everyone. So that's it for the video. If you liked it, like it, subscribe. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Gmail. You can't see my thumb. I'm trying to reach it. Gmail.com. That's it. Have a good one and enjoy.